Hey everybody, just give me 1 second just to get set up here. Thank you for joining me today. All right. I like having these two screens because then I can see everything I need to see. All right. So, thank you for coming, everybody. I'm Stacie from the Key to Soul Awakening. If you're new here, I am my hair, I swear. I'm a psychic medium, and every Sunday I'm here at 10 a.m. to answer your questions with tarot cards or just my guides who talk to me all the time. In my day job, I offer spiritual guidance to my clients who may be going through a spiritual awakening, but are also maybe just a little lost in life. You don't have to be going through a spiritual awakening to seek out my assistance. If you are on this live right now, do me a favor and just click the like to let YouTube know that you like this, me coming on every Sunday. You can go to my YouTube page. I've made videos about my background and how I got here. It really does give you a good background of who I am and what I do. And it also tells you about the stories that went on in my life. I did not have such a good life, and I told it a couple videos called Chance to Be Happy on my YouTube page. I don't talk about them much anymore, and I think I'm going to talk about this a little later today about how I've stopped talking about like all my victim stories. And we sink so much into being victims that we get stuck in that. So I've decided just to stop telling all these stories. But if you want to see my background, go ahead and look on my YouTube page. I've made some videos. I'm also going to be updating my story this week or next week about how I actually got here, sitting in this chair talking to you from the person I used to be. And that's going to be talking about my dark night of the soul. I'm going to be talking about the dark night of the soul a little bit later, probably in about a half hour, of what the dark night of the soul is and how that differs from depression and how to tell the difference. All right, so if you have any questions for me, you're going to put them in the chat box. This is questions about tarot readings. You could have questions about spirituality, the world we're living in, anything and everything. I mean, even celebrity questions I can try to answer for you using my guides, and I'll explain about timelines if we get there. But first up, we do have questions from my Instagram followers that I'm going to answer first because they sent their questions in early through DM. And you can always do that on Instagram and send me your questions. I'll answer them first on this Sunday Live. I just want to say I've had an amazing, amazing week with all of this. It's really, really, I mean, just amazing. I've talked to everybody, from people from South Korea all the way to South Africa and everywhere in between. And it was really a moment for me to go, wow, like I can't believe this is my job. It's really exciting to meet all of you. And I think that's probably my favorite part of this job is just to know all of you and where you're from and get to know you. So, reach out to me if you have any questions. Again, Instagram DM's easiest, or you can just put it in my chat box here. Coming up this week, again, I have my first Instagram live for a tarot reading live for an Instagram follower who won the contest, and that's on Tuesday. Again, I'm going to publish my video about the dark night of the soul and how you can actually get to my energetic place. Very positive, very looking forward to life. I'm going to explain that all in the video and how I did that and how you can get there too. Lastly, I'm almost at the level of Patreon members where I'm going to tell all my spooky encounters. Let me tell you, they're good. All my spooky encounters with ghosts and the other side for my entire life. When I get to a certain level on Patreon with a certain level of members, you can join as a Patreon member for as little as $5 a month, and you get this equal access to everything, CAY, and just sign up for membership, and then you'll get to hear all my really good stories about ghosts and spirits that I've actually encountered. All right. Oh, hi, Holly. Yeah, South Africa. I'm telling you, it really is that it's just amazing. All right, so topics today, Instagram follower questions. The other next topic is how to make one small change in your life to use the law of attraction properly. And when I say properly, I mean properly. There's a lot of things people miss. I'm also going to talk about God and where is God? And I've heard people say, I don't believe in God. And I really want to address that today. I also would like you to tell me your dreams, dreams you've had at night, you're sleeping. And I'm going to try to tell you what they mean. I'm going to explain a little bit what you should be paying attention to in dreams. And again, I'm going to go into the dark night of the soul. I'll flip-flop back and forth from tarot readings, questions, and then the topics I'm going to discuss. So go ahead and just pop in your question anytime. All right, Instagram followers. Okay, Alicia 2410 is up first. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Gail. How are you guys doing? Alicia 2410 is an Instagram follower. She's asking if she's going to get a job this year. Alicia, I did your life path number, so I'm going to tell you about your life path number first. Hey, Jerry. Hey, Tori. Oh, I'm going to tell you about Tori in a little bit, okay? Tori, I'm so glad you're here, Tori. Tori's like my little protege. She's a very talented psychic, and she is going to be coming up and offering services shortly on her own page, but I'm going to get back to that. All right. So, Alicia, you're asking if you're going to get a job this year. I did do your life path number, and your life path number is actually very exciting. So you ended up being a master number 22, which turns into a 4. And a master number 22 means you have all the tools you need to build ideas in. So if somebody brings you an idea, you really know how to get it done. You really know how to make all of your dreams get done. You have it all within you as a master number 22. And it turns into a 4. And a 4 is a truth seeker. And you really just want a list of directions in your life. This is how I'm going to do it, which is why you're asking me if you're going to get a job this year. You are very direct and okay, and they're telling me this one's important for you. So you tend to push people away with your strong opinions. And it's not bad to have strong opinions. 4s tend to be a little bit more blunt than most, and they tend to like cut people off at the knees and not realize it. So what I'm sensing here is you need to soften a little bit. Don't change your opinions, just soften a little bit, okay? So let's see what your tarot cards say for getting a job this year. I always shuffle until the guides tell me to stop shuffling. Do you ever see how the dealers at Vegas like wash their cards? That's exactly what I do every time I go into a live stream. I always wash the cards. So I'm like, I could work at Vegas. All right, here we go. You're going to get a job this year. Okay, so first of all, your lesson. All right, you have 2 lessons to learn here. The first one is that you need to make yourself a priority. That's the upside down Empress. So right side up, the Empress is talking about being the all-encompassing of beauty and femininity and, a strong strength, power within. Flip side means that you're not really looking at yourself accurately. You're looking at yourself with overly critical eyes. So that's one huge lesson you need to learn in this. The central message here is that you are at conflict and you need to stand your ground. Is there somebody like telling you need to be doing something different in your life, and you need to do something different than you actually want to do? Because this is telling you, stand your ground. You're really good at whatever you want to, whatever this job you're searching for, you're actually really good at it. And the last card, yeah, it's a lesson. Trust your intuition. I do see you getting a job this year. Only if you are able to stick to your intuition and what you know your truth is. And there's a lot of people around you I'm seeing that are trying to pressure you to do other things. And what I'm feeling is that because it's like, just get a job, get anything, get a job. But you really want to stick to what you want to do. And I do see it working out very well. It might be 2 months, maybe 3 months that this will really take off for you. But the biggest thing the guides are saying right now is don't sink into negativity about it. You need to stay positive. And when you stay positive, that's going to attract what you want. All right. Thanks for the question, dear. All right. Next question is, I'm just going to say M3, 504. Your question is about you and Gerard reconnecting in the future. And you were also asked before about how we can move on so easily. And this question is actually stuck with me for a few days, and I've been trying to push it off until answering it right now. And the reason it comes through to me like that is because it's important, and that's the guides want me to make sure you get it to you. All right, I will get to your question about finding a life partner, okay? And Gail, okay, I'll get to your question too. All right, so let's go to about Gerard. What I was seeing earlier this year, yesterday or the day before, was that he was just moving on because it was easier for him just to move on and not deal with any of these big issues. And I wasn't seeing what the big issues are, but I was seeing that there are these big stressful things and he just didn't want to deal with it. So he was just leaving it. And that's generally not a really great way to deal with things in life, is just leave them behind, because as we all know, they will come up at the worst possible time in our life if we try to ignore things. So yeah, I do see you guys reconnecting. The thing is, though, I see this being more in the ball more in his court. I'm going to put the cards down 1 second. The guides are saying to me, you don't want to wait around like on a sinking ship. So if you realize that this relationship isn't what you want it to be, don't turn it into what it's not. Yeah, they're telling me, come on, just go. Okay. All right, let's see. Yeah, yep, you're really negative right now. You're kind of sinking into the negative. You're lots of energy. Yeah, it feels like you thought this was going to be like the relationship, and all of a sudden you're standing here like, where'd he go? And you're kind of lost in all of that. The last card's talking about you focusing on your personal goals. It's reversed. It's the Two of Wands reversed, which means that you need to focus inward on your goals, and you'll be able to manifest anything if you can focus positively and focus inward rather on outward and him in this relationship. If you're here and you have extra questions about this, go ahead and just put them in the chat box and I will answer them for you, because I feel like that is a big sticking a block for you, this relationship. And it's supposed to be more of a lesson rather than a block. All right. And that's a lesson I think everybody needs to learn, is when we're facing a challenge and things aren't working the way we want them to work, you need to realize it's not a block for you to try to figure out how to climb over. It's a block. It's not a block. It's a challenge to realize something about yourself, and you need to change direction. So, I mean, I think as humans, we're taught to live, that life is hard, that life is complicated, that life is painful. And really, it shouldn't be. So when you face a setback like that, just change direction and figure out what feels better to you. You shouldn't be sitting around for somebody who's walked away. All right, next Instagram question from Binny. She wants a pick. She just wants a general reading. I'll do that real quick for you. Okay, I'm going to do a 3 card. Usually when I do generals, I do 9s, but because this is just on the chat, I'm going to do a 3 real quick. All right. Great. I love all these questions coming through. Good morning, Donnie Dang, Gia, and Jordan. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining me. All right. So, picking a general guidance for Binny for my Instagram followers. And if you want to interact with me on a daily basis, go follow me over on Instagram at The Key to Soul Awakening. I go live there pretty often and I answer questions through DM. And make sure you hit that like button on this live stream so YouTube knows that you like my lives. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All right, Binny. I'm getting a huge amount of chills here, Binny. Before I even look at the cards, let me figure out what that's about. Okay, I'm getting a lot of nervous energy. There's a lot of nervous energy surrounding you. I'm getting like wringing hands. Like you need to know what's going to happen. There's something that's really worrying you. Okay. You are, first card's talking about level of consciousness, how you're almost at this next level. And this always happens when we're almost at the next level, where when we're about to level up, things get really hard. So, and I'm feeling that with you, that you're anxious. And I'm feeling it's more about like this whole world situation and, what that means specifically for you and your family. And what I'm going to tell everybody about this world situation is just flow with it. That's what we got to do. Stay positive and flow with it. Yep, there's freedom coming for you. So you need to step out. You need to step out and do things that you aren't normally doing. I'm literally just seeing you walking down the street. And I think that's, okay, yeah, because we're not walking down the street. So you feel like you need to get back to this sense of normalcy. That's what's throwing you off. So do whatever you can in order to feel like you're in that sense of normalcy, even though the whole world isn't. And just understand that's what we're all going through right now, and it's not just you. And your last card, yeah, it's the same thing. You're swayed by others, where don't look at other people. Don't look at other people in their lives. Like the grass isn't always greener on the other side. You really need to look at your own life and say, this is really great. This is what's great about my life. And, because you'll hear about the people, like perfect people on the block and have the great houses and all of that. They are not as happy as you think they are. Like they're just Instagram people. And I like to call them that because, like Instagram's not really right, like really true, right? Like everyone's just posting their, best picture so they look good, and that's not reality. So focus on your own life and make sure that you're focusing on the positive, Benny. Okay. All right. So let's see. I'm going to go to one more question before I move on to, and then I'm going to pop back. Okay. So Gail, your question is, will we be able to close on our house at the end of the month? Oh, that card just fell out of my hand. Okay. These two cards are, yeah. Okay. So tame your gut instincts. You have lots of strength going into this. This is a really strong, positive situation you're going into. Don't rush into things. Yeah. And the next card was about false self, and just tame your. They're telling me to tame your enthusiasm. All right. Because it's going to be good. You are going to close by the end of the month. Oh, there's something waiting, but it's not on your end. It's something waiting on the other end that I'm seeing it come through, but it may not come through, might be the beginning of next month. But it's all going to work out fine. The last card that just came out was emotional fulfillment, which means this purchase, it's a house, right? This purchase at the end of the month is actually going to be really good for you and your family. So even if it doesn't happen by the end of the month, it's going to happen shortly thereafter. And remember, our timelines shift, and time doesn't really exist except for in this world anyway. So just, I do see the 2-week period at the end of this month and the beginning of next. All right. All right. Let's move to, I'm going to talk about real quick about this one small change you can make in your life using the law of attraction is, I was talking to a lot of clients this week about the words we use. And I actually struggled with this bit this week myself. Don't think I'm perfect. Don't think I don't deal with this, because we always go back and forth. The words we say to ourselves every day really create our reality. So if you wake up and you say, oh, I'm going to have one of those days, you know what's going to happen? You're going to have one of those days. So what needs to happen is, if you wake up unhappy and grumpy every day, that is what's going to happen. You need to wake up and take some time before you do anything else and look around and say, what's really great about my life? Like, what is really great? And focus on that before you, check your email or look at what's going on with the kids or whatever. Focus on what's good and remember that, rather than focus on what's stressing you or what's a major stressor, because from the very moment you wake up in the morning, that law of attraction is right there. So you need to put out the positivity first before, you get all inundated, as we all do, with all stress. So once you put the positivity out, you're starting to create a really good day for yourself. And you need to do that every single day. And remember that. Too many of us get, especially in the States, where we leap out and we're like, oh, we got to do this, we got to do this, we got to do this. No, take some time for yourself and remember the positive things. And that is a very small change you can make in your life with the law of attraction. A lot of my clients were talking about how, they use words like, my heart was shattered, or this situation broke me. I was saying I feel off balance, and then I had one of my psychic friends networks. I messaged her and I'm like, can you help me? And she reminded me, yeah, you're saying you feel off balance, and that's why you're off balance. And I thought, yeah, duh. And things like when you say, I hate this, that's all putting out a vibration of negativity. And as we all know, that's how the law of attraction works. So when we put out the vibration of, I hate this, the law of attraction says, I hate this, I'm going to match it. Give them some more chaos and disappointment. So put out positivity, find anything you're positive about in any situation, and the law of attraction will give you more positivity back. And that's just one small thing you can do every day to make sure that you're using the law of attraction in a positive way. All right, next question. Will you be able to find your life partner this year or next year? Okay. Okay, I'm sensing that your life partner is close. You may already know them. Nope, you don't know them yet. You're going to meet them. Let me see. I think it's just a matter of time. I don't think there's anything blocking this at all. I think it's just a matter of time and the way you planned it. Okay. So what this is saying is that you are becoming very impatient about this, which is the feeling I was getting. Sorry, 1 second, I'm getting dry. Which is the feeling I was getting because your life partner is coming. you just need to learn to be a little bit more patient and know that let go of that belief. They're telling me you have a belief of being married. Is it by a certain date, by a certain age? They're giving me a number. You have a belief that you need to be married by such and such, such. And that's a belief you need to let go of, because you are going to find your life partner. You are going to get married. But understand it's under the terms that you created through your soul contract, and not in these man-made terms that, whatever culture or whatever we say is this is how it should happen. It's going to happen. So just be patient. I do see it coming. They're telling me November. You're not going to get married this year, but you're going to meet somebody by November. And then 1 year from there is where I'm seeing that things are going to really get moving. All right. All right, Donnie. What does M really think of you? Okay. Getting a whole lot of like gray cloud here, Donnie Dang. Do they even know that you're thinking of them in a certain way? Because I'm getting that they're either not in junction with you, or you have not presented this to them in a way that they understand it. All right, let me see what the cards say real quick. A lot of insecurity surrounding this. So this person does think highly of you. They may not think of you in the way that you want them to. Doesn't mean it not going to happen, but I see insecurities with you that are stopping this whole thing from moving forward. If that makes sense. So just be secure in where you are in life and who you are. And this person, M, is going to be there the way you want them to be, but your insecurities are blocking that. All right, so you understand that. If you don't understand, or if you have any questions, put them back in the chat box and I will elaborate for you. All right, Gia, should I hire Larry as my babysitter? Okay, I'm just gonna put cards down for this one real quick. Okay, Gia? Okay, here we go. Yeah, okay. All three cards are telling you to get out of your own head, that you're in your own way with this situation. So you need to trust your instincts. So they're telling me you're overthinking it. There's some major trust issues in there in your life pattern here. And I think that's what we're seeing as these trust issues. So try to look past your emotional blockages that you've had in the past with trust. And that's what's blocking you with making this decision. So all three cards just came out as trusting your instincts, and that it's a good thing to trust your instincts on this. You know exactly what you should be doing. I think I feel good about it. I mean, they're telling me you wanted an answer. I feel good about it, but I want you to feel good about it. All right. So examine why you're asking this question. And if there's trust issues there, you need to go a little bit deeper than that. But I do feel okay about this, this Layla. I think she should be fine. Hey, Gaggy. All right. Let me go back here real quick. Okay. So I'm going to answer one more tarot question, and then I'll do the next discussion topic and then get back to tarot. Make sure you put your questions. Rob, Uriel. Hey, Uriel. Hey, Rob. I don't like doing political stuff, but I'll get to it. Okay. I always say the wrong things, but okay. All right. So Jordan. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, Jordan. I did do that already. What I said about Gerard is, oh shoot, I forget already. It was in the beginning. Let me glance up back here, see if it reminds me of anything. Oh, right. I said that he walked away because he didn't want to deal with stressful things that are going on. So there's something stressful that's going on in between the situation he didn't even want to deal with. And the guides were saying that you are going to reconnect in the future, but you can't sit around for somebody who just walked away from you. Or you can, but they're suggesting that you don't. And consider if this is a sinking ship or not. was the basic thing. And it's really up to you. I mean, you can choose to try to get back together with him or get him back, or you can choose to move on, because both things are highly possible. It's a matter of how you want to present your own life and how you want to move forward in your own life. What I'm getting clearly from this was a lesson for you to learn to shift, not something, a mountain to climb over. That was the exact image they're giving to me. But if you want the actual answer, you go back to the beginning. I think it was like 8 or 9 minutes into the live that I answered that. All right. Jerry. Okay. Jerry, had flashes of water, mountains last night, images of my family. Okay, is this a dream, Jerry? The flashes, because I can switch down to dreams real quick. Flashes of water, mountains, and last night images of my family. That all means change, Jerry. Water, all of this, it means you're climbing over something momentous, and there's change coming. And it would depend on who the family member is. And it doesn't even have to be the exact family member that you are actually going to be changing with. It's what they represent. Let me switch down to dreams real quick, and I'll answer that. Okay, so I did want to talk about dreams, just because my dreams are just always so interesting. My friend calls them a puzzle that she likes to put together. So dreams are the easiest way for the other side to actually connect with us, because they don't have to get down into like this heavy vibration. They call it like a bodysuit. Our human bodies. So when they come into dreams, it's the easiest way for our guides, angels, and our loved ones crossed over to get a hold of us. So when you know a dream is important, is that it actually goes in chronological order, and it makes some sort of sense. It doesn't even have to be about you. I have a lot of dreams where I'm like other people. Spirits love to show me how they died. Yeah, my friend Holly always tells me, she's like, why don't you ever have any good dreams? I don't know. Okay. But like, even if it's not you in the dream, if it makes sense, that is a dream where somebody's trying to get a message to you, or someone's trying to convey something to you. For example, I had a dream about my grandma who, died years ago, but I had a dream about her about a year or two ago. And the reason I knew it was actually a dream where I was meeting her and I saw her is because when I gave her a hug, I actually felt her. And I remember thinking, I forgot how soft her skin is. And the dream went on from there. But when you're actually feeling there's tangible things, in another dream where I was like kicking the crap out of my brother, that was another dream that the guys were like, you need to let this go. So when it's like sensory, when you feel sensory things, feel things, you see things, you smell things, and you feel it more in those like random dreams where it's just like splotches of things, that's a dream you need to pay attention to. And that's when your guides or somebody's trying to get a hold of you. In that dream about my grandmother, she was just telling me that, because I missed her terribly. And she was telling me, that they're all watching over me. And then she picked up her purse and walked off to lunch with the girls. And that's how I knew it was her. So, when you have a dream that you think is important, it really is. And just make sure you write it down, because you're going to forget all those details later. So Jerry, let me get back to this images. Generally, it's how you feel in your life about this. What I'm getting with this water, mountains, and last night images of your family is that you're literally climbing a mountain. What I just said about the Jordan and Gerard, you're literally climbing a mountain. And they're telling me you don't have to climb it. There's a way around this mountain. Like, you're kind of halfway up it right now, and you don't need to go much further than where you are now in order to move on with your life. There's things to be let go of, Jerry. I think you've reached a point, and I know we talked about this a few weeks ago. I think you've reached a point where you're really at a crossroads right now, where you're so many people do this, where they need to know why. They need to know why and all the details of things that happen. And really, what's the reason for that? Why do we need to know all the details of something that happened that was painful for us? We just know it happened, right? You need to move on from it. And then you need to come at peace with yourself. Yeah, I'm feeling extremely confused. This is how this is all playing out to me. You have a lot of attachment here, Jerry, painful attachment. And you're choosing to hold on to that pain when really you don't need to. It weighs you down in life. It weighs you down. And that's exactly why you can't climb up the mountain. just if you want to talk to me more about this, just email me like we talked before. I think you're at a point right now where you need to really consider what's beneficial for you to research, what's beneficial for you to pursue, rather than, moving on. All right. All right. So I did dreams. Okay, I'm going to get to the dark night and depression real quick after this. Let me answer some more questions. Is this like black magic? No, this isn't black magic, Uriel. This is tarot. And honestly, I don't even really use the cards that much. You notice I don't even use the cards. I use them as a bridge. So what I do is I listen to my guides, who I can hear. Sometimes I can hear them with my ears, but usually they're in my head, and I can hear them, and I get images in my head of what people are talking to me about. And generally when I answer questions, it's not even like as if I've thought of them. I'm just telling you exactly what I'm seeing. And it's really up to the person I'm talking to tell me if this makes sense. And, because they may be showing me an image that isn't like Tori's still here. Tori, I was practicing with Tori the other day, and Tori gave me an image that she was seeing about a question I asked her. And it was an image of something she had seen with one of her family members, but it didn't fit with what I asked her. But the image, what it portrayed, actually really did support the question I was asking her, but the image was of her family. So if I see something with my own family, I'll explain it. No, this isn't black magic. This is just a higher level of consciousness, which we'll get back to about God, because people think I don't believe in God. People think I'm like a devil worshiper, and that's not true at all. All right, Rob. Biden messed up the trade deal with China. See, here's the thing with politics. I've completely unplugged from it because it drags me down so much. There's not one way to look at this. You know what they're literally showing me right now is like spider webs, like, those fishing nets, and when they get all like, and it's like pulling apart, but when you pull it apart, the knot becomes tighter in the middle. This is complex. I hate to say this, Rob. I don't have a straight answer for you because I think there's so many other things going on that, yeah, and the guides are just reminding me not to get too into politics. There's so many other things going on that there's not one straight answer. So people are going to be able to look at the situation and go, yeah, you did a great job. Look at that. And then other people are going to be able to pick it apart and see mistakes. It doesn't happen with every single politician, right? We can look at it from any way. In general aspect, what I see happening with the changeover, and I'm just going to keep saying what I've said, and they're telling me to repeat this, is that if people don't calm down and be kind to one another and start listening, and when I mean listening to, understand rather than listening to reply, there's going to be a major conflict coming. And it all depends on how not just one person at the top behaves, it's how everybody living in the country behaves. And right now it's a big mess, and it's a tension, and what's all of that tension. And honestly, I told people, I've unplugged from my Facebook friends too, because I've tired of listening to it, that I've said, you guys have to stop fanning these flames. You have to stop being so mean to one another, because that is creating all of this tension. There are things happening within all governments that I think everybody would be very upset about. So when we look at one topic, like, the minimum wage or the trade deal or, the wall or whatever, when we look at one thing, that's like tunnel vision. It's like, okay, let's just look at this. We're not taking out the big picture. And the big picture is acceptance. And there's not one way to look at one thing. And that's where the law of polarity comes in, where we need to look from the other side. This really is a topic that I try to stay away from just because of how contentious it is. The only thing I will say, though, is stay positive and your family will be fine. Those people who do not stay positive and who are like soaked in the struggle of, let me try to fix governments, they're going to get pulled down by this negativity, and they're going to be at the center of this conflict. So the guides are telling me you specifically need to pull out a little bit because your head's in it too much. I hope that answered your question. I don't have a straight answer for anything about governments because I don't like to know the information that comes through. I don't want to know. So everyone just needs to be kind and move on and understand one another and understand we're not going to agree with one another all the time. and we've really hit a point in the States where this has become major, that everybody needs to understand that kindness matters more than, being right. Right. All right. Holly, just everything happened to me on timeline I made up as a kid. I got married right after college, built my dream house, but it was the wrong person. Yep, good point, Holly. Holly, if you guys haven't seen my YouTube channel, I made 2 videos about Holly and her soul contracts with her ex-husband. Sorry, talking like straight for an hour really makes you dry. I made 2 videos. It's called Soul Contracts and Difficult Relationships. And Holly's my best friend, everybody. So Holly got into a relationship that was not kind, and starts with an A, B, U, S, E. So in those videos, I explained why she did not make a mistake getting into those relationships. So when we're in difficult relationships, you're meant to be there, but you're not meant to stay there. You're meant to learn things from those relationships and move on. So patience, but also learning. So Holly made a soul contract with her ex-husband that they were supposed to be learning from one another to, kindness and build upon that. And at the soul level, her ex-husband chose not to do that. And that's when the contentiousness between the 2 of them happened. And she tried really hard, like most of us do, to stay in relationships that are difficult, but she did eventually realize that she needed to leave. Go ahead and check out those 2 videos. They're called Soul Contracts, Difficult Relationships on my channel. They're about 15 minutes long each. They're the most popular ones on my channel. They really, really explain why we get into difficult relationships and what we should do about them. All right. Gina Mel, you're spot on. Oh, thank you. I try, sometimes I'm not exactly spot on, but I thank you. I really appreciate your feedback and your subscription. Great. Like I said, I try to see things in my head and explain what I'm seeing. The other side doesn't ever, and this is, Sylvia Browne's one of my favorite psychics ever, and she has passed away. And when people say that she wasn't correct when she said she was going to die, or that she isn't correct, the thing is, they don't give us anything 100%, because there's no answer 100%, because we all have free will. We can all make changes that'll change whatever I tell you. So if I'm telling you this is going to happen and then you go make a choice that shifts that, I'm going to be wrong, right? So you have to understand, when we're telling you things, we're only seeing in the probable future, all right? But we can see what has happened. All right. I'm looking at you, Donnie Ding. Okay, hold on one second. Not dreams, flashes. Okay, Jerry, I'll get back to that. Donnie Ding thing. I don't plan. Do you want to mean by highly? Thinking high. Okay, thinking highly of you, meaning they like you. And maybe that's why I was getting that gray area, that I was like, wait, this isn't a romantic relationship, right? I didn't want to say that. When I said think highly of you, it means that they like you, and that they. It seems like a really strong connection, but it's not going to be going anywhere further than it is right now. And the insecurity thing is where it was coming up, that, just be secure in it, because what you see is what you get with this person. Okay. All right. So let me move to the dark night and depression. And if you haven't hit that like button yet, please do so you let YouTube know that you like my Sunday lives. And make sure you ask questions. Anything I'm talking about, go ahead and ask a question about, or tarot questions, specific tarot questions. Last week I did, they're telling me to talk about this again. Last week I did a little bit on this other YouTuber named Katie Joy. And I really feel at this point that we all need to back off of her. Those of you who are watching, I did talk a little bit about what's going to happen in that situation, and the guides are saying that we need to back off big time. What's going to happen is going to happen, is what they're saying, and we just all need to move on. All right, the dark night and depression. So the dark night of the soul, I like to call the dark night of the ego, because it has nothing to do with the soul. What it has to do with is that when we focus on our intuition rather than our false self and our ego, which is our false self is our human self that is out for us, survival, us to be the best, us to win. And when we listen to our intuition, generally our intuition, who are our guides, are asking us to make decisions that are good for us and everybody else, to be balanced and harmonious. So when we choose to listen to our intuition more than our ego doesn't like that. So the dark night of the ego is when you finally strip yourself down and you've looked yourself in the mirror and said, why did I make these choices? I created all this in my life. And I did this last year. It was difficult to go through because I had to look at myself and go, yeah, I'm not really particularly loving my life. How did I create this? Rather than blaming everybody else and making excuses for my own behavior, I looked at myself and said, yeah, I did make those choices. I did do those things, and this was the result. So when you get down to it and you're listening to your intuition and your ego takes a back seat, you really become, I don't want to say emotionless, but I called it empty. I felt so empty. I forgot who I was. I didn't even recognize my old self. Like when people were talking about Stacie, I didn't even recognize myself. There was a time that I was like, I don't even know who I am. And I made a conscious effort to build in positive things rather than going back to who I was, which is what took some time. And there was a moment where I was really lost in all of it. And I had walked downstairs at night to get a drink, and I ended up falling down the stairs flat on my face. And I don't know how I wasn't injured. Again, I mean, how much stuff has happened to me that I didn't get injured? But anyway, I didn't get injured at all. And that was the moment where I can tell you that I kind of lost the old me and moved into the new one, because I wasn't getting it until that point that I realized, I need to let go of all of this. I need to let go of all of it. I'm not even going to think about all of this bad stuff anymore, because when I think of it, I draw it to me. And when I got up from falling down the stairs, I realized, I can just choose who I'm going to be, or I can be this person who's constantly falling over herself and getting in her own way. So depression is different, though. Depression is, and I've experienced depression too. I mean, depression is definitely something that is so painful that you can't even deal with it sometimes. I mean, there's such an immense pain in depression that's how you know there's a difference. In the dark night, you literally feel nothing. It's not like you don't like things and you're pain. No, you just don't even like anything. I mean, nothing interests you. It's like I was walking around as a shell. And until I started to fill myself up with positivity. In depression, you're very much asking the question, why'd this happen to me? Why do these people do these things to me? Why me? Why me? Why me? And in dark night, you're asking yourself, who am I? And there's a huge difference between the two. I did not feel any kind of despair at all when I was in the dark night. Like, I wasn't sad at all. I was more frustrated that I could not move through it faster, but I wasn't sad at all. I was not willing to accept myself as who I was before. So I stayed very, very empty for a couple weeks, honestly. There is a video that I have not been able to find on YouTube about this. This girl literally is just sitting against her door, like talking about how she's going through the dark night. And it's the best video I've ever seen on the dark night. And I can't find it. I'm going to try to do some deep digging later today to put it up, because I think the way she described what the dark night was fantastic. It was the best description. And literally, it's just her leaning against a door, telling you what she feels like. And that's exactly what it feels like. You just feel empty. You don't even feel like you belong here. So in depression, it's very much this fighting, sad feeling. And in depression, I will note, if any of you are in a depression, you need to make sure you're getting psychological and medical support, because sometimes it could just be as easy as a chemical imbalance that needs to be changed. It has nothing to do with like you or your life situation. So make sure you are getting the support you need for depression. In the dark night, you just, you're letting go of all those bad parts, and you're not punishing yourself for having those bad parts. You're just letting them go. And when you let them go, you feel that emptiness. And then it's up to you to fill it back up with positivity. All right. Jordan, just watched a being with me, but I couldn't. I just learned he has a baby on the way. Oh. Yeah, and that's why they're telling me that this isn't something that this is a lesson. Okay. Yeah, they're definitely saying don't. You're taking this very personal, very personal. Hold on. Yeah, very personal, huge chills. All right, there we go. They're talking about how you need to care for yourself, and you need to find your inner child. Be more happy and do things that make you happy, and put your vibration out, Jordan, a little bit more positively than it is right now, because right now it does feel very murky. And you're asking, why wasn't I good enough? Why wasn't I good enough? And what you should be asking yourself is, why did I spend so much time not realizing that I'm better than having this relationship? Because when you look at everything you've done, and I'm not saying you've been perfect in this relationship either. What I'm saying is this was for you to learn from and move on and have a better relationship with somebody else. All right, does that make sense? All right. Did I miss any questions here? I don't think so. What's the dream of a skunk scaring you? It would have to mean that it depends on what's going on in the dream with the skunk scaring you. I mean, there's no, when you look at online dictionaries and they're like telling you like, this is what this means, this is what this means, you need to take that with a grain of salt, because it really has to do with what it means to you and in the context of the dream. Like I had a dream where, and if you look at my other YouTube videos, my brother is a very large part of why I was so negative, that I had a dream where there were all of me, like 5 of me, and he cut me in half and then like split me and put me, and that meant he was taking my identity away. He was changing who I was. But if I would just tell you that dream, or somebody would tell me that dream, I wouldn't be able to put the context of it together with who that person is. So you need to make sure that you understand what else is going on in the dream to understand what the skunk means. All right. Angel numbers. Yep. Angel numbers. When people are talking about angel numbers, I don't know. People like to say like 444 means stability and 222 means things coming. Again, I think it's just signs from your guides saying you need to pay attention to what's going on right now. So any kind of synchronicities that are happening, and when you're on your life path, you get a lot more synchronicities happening in your life than ever before. Like I was just telling Holly the other day, and I don't think I'm going to go into this part of the story in the video when I talk about the Dark Night, but when Holly and I had a little bit of a falling out, I had a dream where, like, we hadn't talked for days, and I had a dream where I called her because I missed her, and she was in the car with somebody else, and I got really mad, like, she kind of replaced me. And she said, let me introduce you to my friend Hope. And I just started crying because I realized, like, she misses me as much as I miss her. And like, she's holding on to hope. And that's the kind of dream that you need to, think about when we, in the context of your life. So when you see those synchronicities, so hope for us, I had a bracelet made for me with her handwriting that said about how I made her life so hopeful, at a certain point. And I had forgotten about that when I had that dream, and I realized, that they're calling attention to that word hope, meaning that I need to focus on getting better and repairing this relationship. So these numbers don't exactly mean the same thing for everybody. And the guides are reminding me to tell you that 666 is a folklore, and it's not supposed to be anything that is negative. It's just, the 6 generally means you're learning lessons through family. So if you see a couple of them in a row, it just means that something big in your family is happening. You need to pay attention. If I could go down, like 1s are new beginnings, 2 means balance and harmony, 3 means communication, 4 means stability. So if you want to take that generally, that's what that means. But I like to look at it a little more individual than, how do you make one rule for like how many billions of people, right? This is reminding me, I want to talk about this whole God thing, because I've heard people talking about like, where's God? And like, especially this person who's saying this is black magic. No, it's not. And people saying, I don't believe in God. When you say that, I've heard a lot of people saying lately too that, why did God let this happen to me? Or, why would I be in this situation if a God's all loving? And here's the thing. God is actually source energy. And the way I visualize it is like a supernova expanding, and we're all like pinpoints of light from that supernova. So that's the God energy, that's source energy. And when we talk about why did God let this happen, the thing is, when she expanded herself into like these points of light, which are us, we're meant to learn things, every aspect of life that there is, not even on this planet, in this universe, other places, so there is God, and all the prophets that, the major religions talk about, they actually did live and they did happen. Now, the books that came from those religions are a different story, but those things that happened did happen. And they all have spirituality basis. So you can't look at, years ago, hundreds of years ago, they would call something like me like a witch, and I would be, probably burned at the stake or drowned. But really what I'm doing is putting a connection between the earthly world and the other dimensions. And that's what we're all supposed to be learning right now, is this life is not the only life. It's like this big. This life is like this big in all of the span of our soul's life. So when we face problems, we can't face them and think, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever going to happen to me. You look at it and you say, I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to move on, because that is why we're here. Okay, let me just see if there's any other questions. We're almost at 11 o'clock, right? Okay, yeah, we got about 10 minutes left. Let's see. Any other questions? Okay, Jordan. I'm looking at the chat right now. Yeah. Oh, thanks, Gaggy. You know, honestly, Gaggy, like I use my hair to cover up my headset. So thank you. Jordan, I know you can't stop crying. What this means, though, is you need to learn to love yourself. And that's what when we move through difficult relationships, that is the central lesson we're all supposed to learn, is that unconditional love for self. That's what there's unconditional love for self. So right now you're so upset at yourself for whatever happened in this relationship that you're not realizing that you need to treat yourself as good as you're treating him, and like forgiving him and wanting, like you're not letting yourself off the hook for what you are like letting him get away with, basically. So send me a DM, Jordan, through Instagram. And like, if you want to talk more about this, I can set up a one-to-one and we can talk more about this. And I'll send you the link of how to schedule that. This is a major lesson for you. And I think it's coming, though, after a lot of different, there's a lot of things that happened in your life where you trusted people and they turned out to betray you. And yeah, there's a part of you that keeps asking, why does this keep happening? Why does this keep happening to me? And the reason things happen to us so much in the same kind of similar ways. I was talking to somebody the other day, one of my clients, who was saying that the significant others this person dates always end up betraying them. And I said, well, that's because that's a lesson you need to learn. It keeps happening and happening over and over again because there's something in there you need to learn. And for you, Jordan, what I'm seeing is that you have a sense of an unworthiness, but also a pattern of betrayal where you put this vibration out where people come, you attract the people who are going to betray you. And that's as simple as just clearing your karmic pattern, which I can talk to you more about if you want to send me a DM on Instagram, okay? Yeah, Holly's a great one to talk to about all of this because, yeah, she has been through a whole lot. Oh, thanks, AK. All right, just looking through the rest of these chats. If anybody has anything else to ask me, Gaggy, you can get dreams just by asking them to have them remember your dreams, and then make sure you write them down right when you wake up. Like sometimes I'm like half asleep, like typing into my phone, just trying to get it out so I don't forget it. You just need to write them down before you, and then that's how you train your brain to remember them. Okay, anything else? If you're interested in becoming a member to get exclusive content over on Patreon, what I do with Patreon is I take whatever content I put on YouTube and then I put material that's in depth on that topic on Patreon, and you can become a member for as little as $5 a month to get the in-depth topics that I don't present to the public on YouTube. And then if I hit that level very soon, you're going to hear all my scary ghost stories that I'm not going to put on YouTube, which I do have to tell you, they're pretty good. So make sure that you stick around for that. Please subscribe to my page and like this live stream, and let YouTube know that you like me coming back every Sunday. And just like I told Jordan, if you want to meet with me one-on-one, you can either DM me on Instagram and I'll send you a link to set up, or you can email me. My email is in the About section of the YouTube channel. If there are any other questions, what I want to mention, they're telling me one thing before you go. You all need to put the white light of the Holy Spirit around you when you wake up in the morning. So, and what that does is it doesn't so much, it protects you from negativity coming. Okay, so what I think of is, I think of it like a Harry Potter cape. like an invisibility cape. So I put this invisibility cape over me, and I think of it as steel, so no negativity can get in. So you're not worrying about anyone else's negativity. And then you ask your guides to release any negative emotions from within you and only keep your positive ones. And that's a really important prayer to do every morning, just so you get off on the right foot. All right. All right, so I think that's it for today. If you aren't any other questions, make sure you subscribe to my Instagram, follow me on Instagram, and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I'll see everybody next week. Have a lovely Sunday.